Welcome back, guys. Good to be back on. It's been a while. Yeah, lots of things going my end. Just been obviously watching what's going on around the world at the moment. And as we said, Q1 was always going to be tough. We're going to speak a little bit about this in the channel message. And it's sort of, I put the title down for the channeling, the current global crisis, hoping to get a little bit more information on the physical, but ultimately, it always comes back, even with these messages, is that we always come back to that, the physical world only exists because it's kept in play by the non-physical. And so everything that's happening here is a direct reflection of that energy behind us or within us. And so a lot of these messages are really trying to hum into that point of we're creating all this crisis. We are shifting the Earth's crisis. We are in that transformation. So it's not so much because we get stuck on our TVs. We see everything outside of ourselves, but realize that we're creating it within us. And Spirit will always pull us back to that center point, because that is where the change occurs. That's where we know the truth. That's where we can find our space within whatever's going on. And so ultimately, as we traverse and transcend this chaos period, shall we say, I like to call it more of a rebirth, or chaos is rebirth anyway, and the feminine energy moving. And it's been tumultuous for so many people. The amount of messages I've been getting from people with, what's going on with me? I'm losing myself. I'm sick. I've got, I don't know where I'm going. I'm depressed, and it's all of this shadow energy. Because like I said, these last 2 years, the rebirth of the feminine, coming back on the planet officially, beginning of 2023. And so 23, 24, and then the end of this year will be that first trilogy ending. And also everything works in threes. A lot of things, the universe is based on three anyway. And so this sort of cyclical nature that we're in now, we're finding ourselves, so I'm just opening up my message. We're finding ourselves really scraping the barrel of that deep shadow consciousness, so it can start to mirror its functionality that we've been sort of not deliberately avoiding, because no one wants to go into the shadow, no one wants to go into their pain, and you'd be surprised how many therapists haven't done that work on themselves either. And it's a shame, because as a therapist, we need to go into the depths of our own shadow. Because we have to hold space for our clients, for whoever we're working with, whether that's on a global scale, just in your town, or whatever scale you're working on. At the soul level, other souls will come to you because they need that acknowledgement. They need to understand. They need to read your cellular information, and they also need to know that you can hold space for them, because you've gone to your own depths. So the more you go into yourself, the wider you expand. And so that holds space for everyone. And also, you can't understand what someone's going through unless you've been through it yourself in some form. How can you empathize? Otherwise it becomes a logical understanding. And people really need to be heard now, because no one's listening anymore. We're so caught up in technology, new age hype, everything. We don't sort of take that time to sort of listen. And Spirit really harp on about being in the present again. It's so important that we navigate through this period very, very present, very, very still, and less is more at the moment. And so you'll find that, and you'll be feeling it. Actually, I don't want to go and do that. I don't want to do this like I used to. And you really need to listen to those feelings, because if you don't listen to them, you let your mind take over, you're going to start to feel worse, because the planet is saying we need change. Consciousness is saying we need change. Our souls are dying for change. And so we're at the precipice of change in many formats. And so we really need to be focused and grounded, and just being present. So look, I'm going to read off the message anyway, and then we'll go from there. All right. Okay. So obviously this message was channeled, I channeled it 2 days ago, channeled it 2 days, so it's very relevant. And so, it really just listen with an open heart. Again, this is Spirit's words, as all the videos, and we always give a message. And really just, let it resonate with you, because, the consciousness in the messages also triggers something within us subconsciously. And this is the problem, like I said in the other videos, every soul is coming to their physical self on the planet now and saying, you have to shift, you have to go into self-inquiry, otherwise things are not going to work as well anymore. Because we're not operating in that old earth mentality anymore. We are shifting that, and like I said, all the war, all the chaos on the moment is that shadow energy exposing itself to transform it. So the more we're working on ourselves now, we plug into that collective consciousness. So the more you're working, and if you let go of your anger, for example, there could be 100,000 other people that you affect that are holding that same anger, connected to the same story in some form. And so you trigger their consciousness, allows them to let go, allows them to see their truth. So everything is plugged in. So the more you work on the self, the more you're affecting thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And that's how it works. This is how light passes itself on the planet. It works from your cells. So when you walk down the street, you go into the supermarket, you go into the restaurant, you've worked on yourself, you've transformed aspect of your consciousness. The person sitting next to you, if they want to awaken as well, they will read that cellular information. Your cells will talk to their cells. That will pass. That will then create synchronicity in their life. And then the next day, a workshop might appear on their social media feed of spiritual work or Reiki or whatever, or a numerology course, something to inspire them to look within, to take that journey. And so synchronistic events will always be in place. But you need to listen as well. And also setting the intention now. You really need to set the intention that, you need more, because the universe will listen. And there's so many beings on the planet at the moment, light beings that are here to assist us, but they can't intervene unless you ask. But you have to put a very serious call out. You need to feel it in your bones. You need to feel like, I really need change. I'm sick of being stuck. I'm sick of being in fear. I'm sick of not knowing. And again, that energy puts a call out. All right. So just be very vigilant in how you think these days, because there's a lot of unknowns on the planet at the moment, and we just need to be aware of especially our mental bodies, because they are going into chaos. Now, Mercury is rebirthing the higher mind on the planet, so the more we work in ourselves, we will elevate our thinking to a higher mind consciousness, because Mercury is now supporting that, because Mercury looks after the mercurial mind. And so this is something as well, because if you can get that higher mind grounded in the body, as well as the soul awakening around the body, then you've got that Holy Trinity in place, because you are walking as a conscious human being with the soul contract always around you, 360 degrees. So everything that's happening is happening in alignment with your contract. You're not coming off that path. And of course, you're holding that space, because it's very hard to get pulled into the negative narrative here. We know that. We live in an oscillating polarity. But if you've got higher mind consciousness grounded in you, you're not going to be pulled or swayed so much, and you'll be able to stay strong and convicted to who you are and what you need to do, and also assisting other people, which is obviously one of the greatest rewards you can have, is helping others. So, in my opinion anyway. All right, so I'm going to read off the message. So, current global crisis, again, I was looking for more on the physical, but here we go, brilliant message still. So March will see an end to the chaos that started in November. Now, in November is when that real heavy energy sunk in, that real exposure of the narrative of the shadow energy within us on a micro level. And so that should start to loosen itself about, in the next couple of weeks. All right, so that's what that means. So the frequency of human denial. So I'll start again. March will see an end to the chaos that started in November. The frequency of human denial. There will be more transparency now going forward with how the planet is moving. The destructive nature that continues to haunt many of you will come to an end soon. The current wars have been a direct reflection of the innate anger that has sat in human collective consciousness since the pyramids. The Mayans spoke about 2012, which you all know was a window of about 25 years since 2000. This has allowed the mental energy time to let go as the feminine moves back on the planet uninterrupted. You are coming back to the one point, for all life moves in cycles. The only way now to stay grounded and aligned is to stay present each moment as the chaos moves around you. Don't be fooled. You are all feeling it through your meridian systems. The recent eclipse has offered a rebirth for those that are and have been aligning with their inner truth. You can witness the mental body through this eclipse aligning with the higher mind. A natural gravitational pull towards personal sovereignty. Many of you have walked the cross up the hill, believing in the narrative, forced into dogmatic behaviours, beliefs and expectations. And through this narrative you have lost your way, exhausting yourselves in the process. You must shake life up this year. Find a new narrative. Let go of the old that no longer serves you or brings you joy. Don't rest on your laurels. You are more than your mind's story. When you receive an alignment upgrade in your evolution, you must action on your feelings. Don't expect the universe to do it for you. You are more than capable to align yourself with universal consciousness. Simply imagine the algorithm of the ones and zeros moving through all your chakras. Many talk about clearing the chakras, upgrading the DNA, connecting you to off-planet beings, ascending you to higher planes. But until you master your emotional and mental bodies, you will not evolve anywhere. In truth, you are already connected, have a powerful DNA, and most certainly connected to all living consciousness. So don't get distracted with New Age hype. Rather sit and be. Accept what you are feeling in the present moment and observe yourself. If you do that, your soul will align with you and move its consciousness onto the planet and around you in the here and now moment. It's a year of personal expansion as well as tying up the past. You must accept your mind's voice with love. Only when it feels it's safe will it let go. Don't try and run before you can walk. Take your time and align with the present moment, and your soul contract will reveal itself effortlessly. Following that, you will be able to breathe and relax, and then you will realize that the fatigue of mental energy, of having to go out there striving and struggling, that has no end without the love of the feminine consciousness. The feminine is on the planet through the algorithm. You can align with its consciousness. Allow it to move through all your chakras, your body, your organs. As it flows, it brings the vastness, the unconditional love. Surrender to this powerful force. The planet's axis is changing, and you will get hot and cold, oscillating, moving up through the southern hemisphere, affecting the weather patterns. And the northern hemisphere will have an erratic behaviour through its weather patterns, especially through the cold. The Arctic ice will start to split as the axis redefines itself. As the ice breaks, it awakens the light language of consciousness, for the Arctic holds the galactic memory of reintegration. Integration meaning remembering your galactic history, your galactic brethren, and your place in this universe. So, in our community, we're aware of extraterrestrial life. I've seen quite a few different ones. Many people have seen them physically, through their imagination, through the subconscious, through their dream state. Obviously, we as channelers, we're directly connected with spirit anyway, so we often have different frequencies coming through. And so, for spirit, as soon as we can let go of this mental mind lock, allow the feminine to rebirth itself, and it washes over the planet, and then the male energy surrenders to that feminine energy, in a way where it's congruent with the universal directive. And when that oscillation is aligned, and we're not so unilateral in our approach to life, and misinformation is one of the worst things, because that's what divides the cells, and that's what causes illness and disease. So as this polarity or oscillating polarity starts to align itself, then what happens is the planet aligns, and it sort of puts out a sort of beam of light, shall we say, which then awakens the other planetary consciousness. Now, don't get me wrong, the planets are in conversation every day like we are, talking to our neighbours. The point is that it means that when that light goes out, it means then the extraterrestrial, the non-physical, can start to be more conscious on the planet for human beings. And that is when we will be back in our light cycles. Because in Egypt, Atlantis, Lemuria, and these are all recent civilizations, there's a lot older civilizations that are way more advanced. And I feel that people get, again, we all get caught up in these sort of three. But they were very powerful light cycles. So we were obviously very conscious of spirit. We were talking with our soul consciously, like it's right next to us. We're able to move our awareness out of our bodies and see into different dimensions. And some people would move off planet very quickly and then come back. And so we were always in constant communication. And that is the full cycle. We are now coming back to that. But whenever you hit that full cycle, we're coming back to that 0 point, or as it said in the message, you will have to go through a huge period of chaos and transformation, and then to trust that you can and then evolve again as a sovereign being. And so the misinformation is the hardest thing at the moment for spirit and people like us, and channelers and authentic leaders in this field, getting people to change that narrative. And the hardest thing for spirit is getting people to believe they're not who they think they are, because you're not physical mass, and you're certainly not a human being. You're having a human experience, but we are universal beings. So we are multidimensional, and we are in many forms. And so that's a great thing, because ultimately what's happening now is the more you're working on yourself, the more you as a multidimensional being will merge closer to you, and then you will feel that love and support as you feel yourself as a whole being, because we are just a hologram here. We're just an imprint of ourselves. And so the more that you've got that alignment with other aspects of your own consciousness, obviously the safer you feel, the more aligned you feel, the more psychic, intuitive you are, and then obviously that brings a whole different feeling of walking in a human body. And that's what Spirit wants us to get to. They've said suffering's now a choice, and it is, and we all have the power now to change. There's so much support and light around the planet at the moment, but you just have to ask, and then synchronicity will follow, and you've got to follow the signs. And your mind is going to debunk the process, because the mind is in fear. The mind does not want to let go of its story. And that's the hardest thing, is getting your mind out of the way. I'm going to be talking a lot more about the mind, because there's a lot of people suffering with that at the moment. Yeah, it's really tough for a lot of people. So, we feel it. And so, yeah, we need to sort of help out where we can with that, because ultimately the mind is going to be the greatest saboteur of our own consciousness, our own evolution. And it's scary. It's scary to let go. It's scary to trust in something that you cannot see, and something that you're not aware of, and something you certainly have not been taught. There's only a few, a very small percentage of people on the planet that actually get to live with the real information as they grow. We're all pulled into that false narrative. So yeah, anyway, look, we could talk about this for ages. I'll be doing another video again very soon. And hope to see you all, see you on the videos again, and have a lovely rest of the day and week. All the best.